In a small, isolated village, there was an old, abandoned house on the edge of town. The villagers spoke in hushed tones about the house, claiming it was cursed. According to legend, a man named Samuel lived there long ago. He was a recluse, rarely seen outside. One day, he vanished without a trace, and the house was left to rot. Decades passed, and the house fell into disrepair. The windows were boarded up, and weeds overtook the yard. Despite the warnings, a group of friends decided to spend a night in the house, driven by curiosity and bravado. They arrived just before sunset, laughing and joking, dismissing the village's fears. As darkness enveloped the house, the friends lit candles and explored the crumbling rooms. In one room they found an old, dusty mirror. Its surface was covered in grime, but they could still see faint, distorted reflections of themselves. They laughed, making faces at the mirror, until one of them, Mark, noticed something strange. A shadowy figure seemed to move behind them, though they were alone in the room. Thinking it was a trick of the light, they continued their exploration. As midnight approached, they began to hear faint whispers barely audible over the creaking of the house. The whispers grew louder, forming incoherent phrases that seemed to come from all directions. The friends grew uneasy but dismissed it as the wind playing tricks. Suddenly the whispers stopped, and a cold chill filled the air. The mirror began to fog up, though there was no source of heat in the room. On the misted surface, words slowly appeared. "I am still here." The friends stared in horror, realizing that the writing seemed to be emerging from inside the mirror. Panic set in as the house grew darker, and the whispers turned into guttural, angry voices. Shadows danced on the walls, and the temperature dropped rapidly. The friends scrambled to leave, but the door they had entered was now locked and the windows were sealed shut. They were trapped. In their frantic search for another way out, they heard footsteps echoing through the house, though they saw no one. The whispers became screams, and the once cold air turned freezing. Desperate, they found a hidden passage behind a bookcase. They squeezed through, emerging into an old, dusty cellar. In the dim light, they discovered a diary, covered in dust and blood-stained. It belonged to Samuel. The final entry read, "They come for me at midnight. I have tried to escape, but the house holds me captive. Beware, for those who come after me will suffer the same fate." The friends, now terrified, tried to leave the cellar, but the house had other plans. The walls seemed to close in and the passageways shifted. The friends were separated, each one encountering ghastly apparitions and tormented by unseen forces. By dawn, only one of them managed to escape. He fled the house, barely clinging to sanity, and made it back to the village, telling the tale of the horrors within. The villagers, long suspicious of the cursed house, now knew that the legend was true. They locked it up tighter than before and avoided it like the plague. To this day, the house remains abandoned, a chilling reminder of the darkness that lurks behind its decaying walls. And sometimes, when the wind howls just right, people say they can hear the desperate screams of those who never made it out.